Biden is doing all types of effed up stuff, ain't he? Trying to get us into World War III, selling wall materials. It doesn't matter. You know that we're just gonna buy them again and finish the wall. Like I don't understand. I guess he's trying to f with his budget coming in because he's gonna have to buy materials again. I mean, like why would he do that? Oh boy, you know Trump's petty too. So it's like keep playing around, Joe.
One of the things I'd like to ask the Biden administration, as you probably heard, there are two events that took place. We're talking about a friendly takeover, a friendly transition, as they like to say. This is a friendly transition, and it is, but there are two events that took place that I think are very terrible. One is that if people don't come back to work, come back into the office, they're going to be dismissed. And somebody in the Biden administration gave a 5-year waiver of that so that for 5 years people don't have to come back into the office. It involved 49,000 people. For 5 years, they don't have to go. They just signed this thing. It's ridiculous. So it was like a gift to a union.
Wow.
And we're going to obviously be in court to stop it. The other thing is really terrible. We spent a tremendous amount of money on building the wall. The wall was designed specifically.
See what I'm talking about? So many of y'all are so super left and, pro right, whatever it is. And both sides do crazy stuff. But do you see the crookedness of this particular administration? Yo, you guys on the left can't convince me of anything of Kamala should have won or Joe's better than Trump. Y'all, especially after once he got elected, all these good things just miraculously started to happen. The crypto shot up. The market shot up. All these leaders around the world are getting in line and wanting to talk about a deal and talk about peace. And you're telling me Biden and Kamala were better? You're insane if you're telling me that. And you believe it. Okay? Come on now.
Particularly by the Border Patrol because it's very hard to climb. They need to have see-through. They need it to be steel because you can't cut. It's very powerful steel. It's very hard steel. It's a special type of steel, but very, very hard to cut. Inside the steel, as you know, we pour concrete, and that's a grade 10 concrete, which is a very strong concrete, very as though you were building about a 60-story building. It's very powerful concrete. They've made tremendous technology advances.
So they can't just knock it down.
The word concrete, who would think that? But I know that from the construction industry. Today, what you can do with concrete is incredible. So we have a very strong concrete. And then we have a rebar. We put rebar inside the concrete. And the rebar, likewise, is very hard to cut.
So I don't know what
it's
rebar
a very
is.
expensive process, very expensive wall. And then we put a anti-climb plate on the top. You saw that.
Oh,
and I didn't like the look of it. But then when I watched, we had people testing. We had mountain climbers actually testing. And they were not able to get over the anti-climb plate. So I said, all right,
really?
we're going to put it on.
I got to take a look at that.
On top, which I never loved the look of it, but it works so unbelievably well. You have to do it. So we spent a lot of money on building it, and we have hundreds of miles that we put up. A lot of people don't realize, but we did 571 miles of wall. That's why we had such good records. In addition to the fact that Mexico helped us with their military, they kept people out, and they were actually very good under the past leader. But now. We ordered an additional 200 miles of wall. It's very expensive, and now it's about double the price of what it would have been 6 years ago.
So that's why he did it. To F with his budget, F with his spending. Dirty.
And the administration is trying to sell it for 5 cents on the dollar, knowing that we're getting ready to put it up. And
how
what
dirty?
they're doing is really an act. It's almost a criminal act. They know we're going to use it, and if we don't have it, we're going to have to rebuild it, and it'll cost double what it cost years ago, and that's hundreds of millions of dollars, because you're talking about a lot of...
Well, since you and Doge are going to be cutting costs, I'm sure you'll find a way to make it fit while sticking it to those that are getting in your way.
A lot of wall. I built much more than I said I was going to build, but then after it was built, I said, we can do some more, because it's sort of like water, people flow through, and that will pretty much really take care of it. And what happened is they just, as you see, they're trying to sell it for 5 cents on the dollar, and that's really
dirty.
That has nothing to do with a smooth transition. That has to do with people really trying to stop our nation.
Yep.
And all it means really is that we're going to spend hundreds of millions of dollars more. Not even talking about the time. The time would be pretty long. But we'll spend hundreds of millions of dollars more on building the same wall that we already have.
So dirty.
And people have already come back to us that have deals at 5 cents and 4 cents.
What was his reasoning for selling it? Can someone tell me what was his reasoning for selling it? What was Biden's reasoning for selling it? I'd like to know.
And one guy had 3 cents on the dollar, and they offered to sell it back to us at more money than it cost us to build substantially. Can you believe it? So they make a deal with the United States to buy it for pennies, and then they call us and they say, do you want to buy it back?
Kiss my ass.
We'll sell it back to you for hundreds of dollars a foot. Hundreds of dollars, from pennies to hundreds of dollars a foot. And we can't let this take place.
No.
Now we're going to go. I spoke with the Attorney General
Absolutely
of Texas.
Not.
I spoke to the senators of Texas. I spoke to a lot of people, and hopefully they'll be able to stop. We're going to be, having a restraining order. But just think about how ridiculous it is. And this is just people that don't want this country to succeed. And this has nothing to do with Democrat or Republican. This has to do with common sense. We won on common sense, and this is maybe one of the most egregious examples I've seen. So the people that are buying it or trying to buy it are trying to make a deal with us to sell it back at hundreds of times more than we paid. And this is all because the Democrats. So I'm asking today Joe Biden to please stop selling the wall. We're going to use that to...
So see, he's asking nicely, Joe. So stop.
Create a strong barrier. And it worked. That's why our numbers were so good. It really worked, and it worked well. And it's very expensive to do. And I'm asking Joe Biden to stop his people from giving it away. It's something that people can't even believe is happening.
Yeah, I can't believe it either.
Hopefully Joe will be able to stop it.
Hey everyone.
Yo, man. Politics is so crooked. Jesus Christ. Some of the most rat trash bag people doing the most rat trash bag stuff, man. I tell you. So, post your comments down below. Let me know what you all thought about this. Do you think Biden's right to sell it? What was his reasoning? Do you think his reasoning was just? You let me know. Do you think this is stupid, petty, gutter butt-ish to do? We're trying to secure the country and the border. You let me know. 10 million subscribers. Whoa. All this pettiness. Ooh, boy, I hate for them to keep going tit for tat, because things can get really bad.